Hi there. I have a question. When did being busy become a badge of honor? Like, when did we start measuring our worth in how exhausted we are or our to-do lists that remain unfinished? Like, we brag about how much we have to do. Let's pause there for a minute. Hi and welcome. I'm Leezá Steindorf. I'm an international speaker, executive coach for the Forbes Coaches Council, and I'm the creator of the Core Success System, where we use clarity, ownership, resolution, and excellence to build lives and also to lead from the inside out. And if that way of being speaks to you, go ahead, take a minute and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who may be trapped in hustling. All right, so let's look at what that really means, right? The that hustling is actually it's a lie that's being sold to us. We've been conditioned to equate doing with deserving. If I get this done, if I do that, if I do more, then I deserve to rest, or I deserve to relax, or I deserve the income, or whatever it is. That if you're not constantly striving, producing, improving, then you're falling behind. We actually have this feeling of having to go faster, having to run, having to run. So when you get clear, let's just start with clarity. When you get clear that you are hustling, right? It's become so habitual that most of us don't even know we're doing it. We only notice when we're not doing it, right? So ask yourself first, hustling. Once you become aware of it, why are you hustling? Sure, there are things that need to get done. We have deadlines for work. We have things that are urgent, grocery shopping. We have things that need to get done. But it's that sense of haste and urgency that pushes us. It raises our cortisol levels, the stress hormone, like we're putting ourselves under tremendous amount of pressure. So when we get clear that resting and taking time is not actually something to be embarrassed about, it is not the opposite of growth. It's actually a necessary part of growth, right? If you think of the winter of plants, when they grow in the wintertime, they don't grow on the outside, they go down. Their roots go down, they take a rest. So when the spring comes, the warmth comes, the sun comes, they have the energy to emerge and to grow. That's what we need. We need time to take a moment and to rest. And remember that you're not a machine that has to just keep going, right? You feed it, you exercise it, you make it go, you put it to sleep. You don't need to earn your rest by getting burned out, which is that's a modern day thing, burnout. You need to include rest as part of your rhythm. So if your life only makes space for recovery after you collapse, that's not being clear about what's going on. That's actually living in crisis. And you can avoid that again by getting clear that you're hustling, become aware of the pattern, and then ask yourself why. Is it necessary? Or can you set goals and move forward with intention, sometimes with speed, without that sense of haste and hustling? All right, let's talk about ownership, right? And ownership means that you get to take responsibility for everything that happens within yourself and what you do, your feelings, your actions, your perceptions, your beliefs. So you are allowed to opt out, right? In our Western consumer culture, the idea that we have is the more is better. The more that we have, the more that we do, the faster we go, more work, more output, more optimization. It's this never ending, there is no end to that. If it always has to be more, you never get to the point where you can just be, because just being isn't more, it's just being. So ownership means that you get to just say, that's not how I want to live. This is how I want to be. And the interesting thing is that when you give yourself that permission, when you take that ownership of your own experience of your life and the speed at which you travel through your life, you actually have the freedom and how should I say, the power, it's an overused word, but the power to make decisions, to be intentional, to say yes, to say no, to say later, right? You are the one setting your internal pace, not the algorithm or your inbox or even the calendar you have set up or people around you, whatever. You are the one that sets your pace. You have that strength of ownership, that power of ownership. So choosing rest in a culture that is all about the grind, right? That's not weakness. It's actually sovereignty, which means that you reign over your own well-being. You're allowed to pause. You don't have to apologize for that. And you're allowed to be still without explaining it. And even if you get weird looks, that's okay. You're recharging your batteries. You don't owe anyone else productivity to justify your presence, right? Doesn't mean don't do your job. Doesn't mean don't take care of your obligations. Just means you don't owe anybody that in order to know that you deserve to be, in order to have your value. Okay, let's talk about resolution. And the way that I define resolution in the core system is it's resolving incongruence, right? So I'm not feeling one way inside and doing something differently outside. I'm not wanting one thing but not sharing that with other people. That I'm congruent, I'm cohesive. So have you ever felt that when you were resting, you had this sense of guilt, like, I can't just be laying here, I can't just be sitting here, I can't just be reading a book? Like even in that stillness, your mind is racing and listing what you need to do and shaming yourself like they're doing this and he's not, he's not resting or she's not resting. So in using resolution, in resolving that incongruence, you have to recognize, or you get to recognize rather, that you have a choice to not punish yourself for being human because everybody needs to rest. Every system needs to take a break, otherwise they burnt out. So to sit in your quiet and not check your worth, to sit quietly and not blame yourself, not make yourself wrong, to say, this is enough. I'm enough right here as I am. That's okay. And true rest isn't about naps or vacation. It doesn't mean you go really fast so that you can take a break. It's a mindset, really. It's this inner permission, if you will, to stop proving yourself. Again, I come back to that word haste, like having to, having to, having to. You don't need to do that, right? You get to be who you are. And interestingly enough, when you give yourself that opportunity to relax and be, you actually can tap even more into your potential because there's not the strain. You don't have that whole fight, flight, or freeze system going that hinders actually our frontal lobe and our cognitive abilities, our physical abilities. So when you commit to the mindset of I deserve to be and I deserve to set my own pace, then that rushing starts to feel foreign and resting starts to feel normal and healthy. So you've learned to rush. It's not because you're bad, it's not because you're wrong. It's because you've been taught to disconnect from your own pace and your own peace. And you get to resolve that. You get to come back to that place of inner calm. All right, let's talk about excellence. And the way that I speak about excellence is knowing and acting and thinking from your highest and best in the world. It's not about an external result. It's not about achieving something. And it's certainly not about hustle. Okay? It's about aligning with your value and then bringing that your highest and best to the table, knowing who you are and what you value. And that may sound like a simple task. It's not. When I work with coaching clients and I ask them to begin with listing their values, what they value in the world, and also what they value about themselves, some of the most amazing leaders, some of the most amazing humans in their personal lives, they don't know what to say because what they're living is not reflective of what they really value. They're living and they're rushing and they're doing because they've been taught to do that. But when they take the time to orient and understand from inside of themselves, what's important to me? What do I want to be doing? What do I value in the world that I want to give my attention and my time to? And then from that space to move forward, not from somebody else's expectations or from an imposed value system, but from our own place within. That's powerful. And that's what brings excellence. And some of the most successful leaders that I know, they don't fill every minute of their day. They choose rest as a strategy, and they choose creating space as a strength to rejuvenate and to reemerge. And you can do that too. So excellence says, I'm not my productivity, I'm not what I accomplish. I am my value and I am my presence. All right, so In wrapping up, and I'm going to give you a practice, but let's just remember, first of all, that rest is not laziness. And being still does not mean you are failing or not accomplishing. You're recharging. And doing less does not make you less. That's something you can write on the mirror. So when you allow yourself to pause without guilt and you open that door to clarity and creativity and you're able to connect with yourself and with other people, then you can breathe. And that's when you can really bring your best. It's such a win-win situation. So I'm going to invite you to a practice for this week, okay? And that is you can use your calendar. I didn't say throw it out, but build in space. So just try one thing. 5 minutes after every meeting. Just that, nothing more. Take 5 minutes, turn off your phone, close your door, take a minute, breathe, ground yourself, stretch, read something inspirational, turn on some music that moves you, rejuvenate. 5 minutes, set the timer, and see what that does for your life. See what that does for yourself. That's my invitation to you. So if you are ready to step off the treadmill of that rushing around and reclaim your own rhythm, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more ideas rooted in compassion and in self-worth, and share this with someone else who may be ready to stop hustling and who want to know their own value as well. So next time, clarity, ownership, resolution, excellence. Remember, you are not behind. And if you're tired, that's okay. There's a reason for that. You get to let yourself rest. Thank you. Be well.